Hey, I'm back with another video, and this video I'm gonna be talking about Game of Thrones, specifically House of the Dragon, but I'm not going to talk about Season 1 first, mostly because I was just too lazy to go back. So, I'm gonna be just talking about each episode so far of Season 2. Just to summarize Season 1, Rhaenyra is basically crowned heir to the throne by Viserys, but then he has a son, and everyone in the realm expects that son to become, the new heir. And Rhaenyra is having a hard time coping with that. Viserys tries to get her a new, husband, but it doesn't work out. It doesn't happen for her. Daemon is basically cast out, but then he has that war in the Stepstones with Corlys, and he comes back, but it seems like he's amended things with Viserys, like he's humbled himself, right? But then, he tries to bang his own niece, which is horrific. And she was willing to do it too, if he didn't, stop. So then Viserys decides, after that craziness, he's just gonna marry off Rhaenyra to the, Velaryons to gain access to their fleet and make those two powerful houses unite, right? But then Criston loses his mind after, he slept with Rhaenyra, Corlys' son. Laenor's lover kind of threatens Criston with that knowledge that he knows he slept with the princess. So then Criston just straight up beats him, turns him into oatmeal in front of the entire court. So then we have that, big time skip. And, she's had multiple children, but obviously they're not Laenor's, they're Strong's children. So then Strong dies, Larys, I'm pretty sure, kills him, I think. Rhaenys and Corlys' daughter, Laena. By the way, whoever that actress is who plays her, she is beautiful. I wish she was in the series more. Amen. If I ever see her, I'm shooting my shot. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But anyways, she passes away tragically. And then they showed the kids fighting after, Laena's funeral. Because Vaemond just steals Laena's dragon. Goodness gracious, how could I forget the name of the dragon? It's the biggest dragon. How did I forget the name? But you know what I mean. You know the dragon he stole. So then they have a fight. He's throwing rocks at them. So then they take out the knife. They take his eye out. And then Alicent nearly freaking take, I think, Lucerys' eye out or whatever. Slices Rhaenyra. Chaos. And then Vaemond tries to take the crown. He gets killed. And Viserys, he's old. He's passing away. And he talked to Rhaenyra about the Song of Ice and Fire or whatever. But it's kind of annoying and disheartening because, you're like, oh, all this drama about the Song of Ice and Fire. But the way it ends. And it's just like, It just kind of puts a sour note to what's a pretty cool overarching storyline with, the White Walkers and what's beyond the wall. It doesn't completely ruin it because, at least in my mind, I imagine that the actual ending in the White Walkers is way more cool and intense than what, actually we saw. So it doesn't completely ruin it. So, he says that to Rhaenyra, but then later on he says that to Alicent, thinking that it's Rhaenyra. And of course, Alicent, being the dumbass that she is, she has no idea what the hell he's talking about. She hears Aegon and she thinks, oh, our son. No, you idiot. It's not your stupid ass son. Why on earth would he have faith in Aegon? They're literally the stupidest son that they have. So then she installs Aegon on the throne unrightfully. And then in the last episode, Rhaenyra sends out her two sons to basically trying to find allies. But then, Vaemond's there, and he chases him. Give me your eye! Give me your eye, bastard! that line always makes me laugh. Jeez. He loses control of... What is this dragon's name? I'm looking it up right now. What is Vaemond's dragon's name? Vhagar. Oh my gosh. Of course, Vaemond would have Vhagar. So he loses control of Vhagar and then chomps on Lucerys like well-cooked ribeye. So then that was season 1. So now going into season 2, the first episode starts with Stark's speech at the beginning. Kragan Stark, I think is his name. Kragan Stark. And he basically talked about like, oh, sacrifice, his duty, etc., etc. And I feel like that speech kind of just summarized the whole first season, like sacrificing what you want for your duty or your family's duty. Like, can you just imagine, 10% chance to get picked. Oh, you're the one. No wife, no children, no love of your life, no no sex. Go to this frozen wasteland for the rest of your life. Like, what? I'm stealing the Essos. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I was wondering, like, I wonder if the magic sort of behind the wall is going to be explained more. Kragan said that King Jaehaerys is, Viserys' father, and his wife, which also I'm pretty sure is his sister, went to the wall and their dragons wouldn't pass it. So I wonder if that is ever going to be explained, because that's actually kind of interesting. I wonder if we're going to see that in this show. Maybe dragons not being able to go past the wall. Yeah, and I also wonder, like, are we going to get stuff beyond the wall? Are we going to see the White Walkers maybe, like, have a little bit of a prequel to the White Walkers? A bit more of the origin? I don't know. I mean, maybe they're trying to reestablish it, and then they'll kind of do a recreation of the ending, years and years from now. I hope so, because someone's got to redo that damn ending. So someone has to redo that garbage ending, please. He also says that, he's got some men for Jace, but it's the Greybeards. And Jace is like, oh, so they're old. All right. He's too old. They're too old. So then it continues with Daemon just being an ass to Rhaenys, thinking he's the king. Keep patrolling. He has that nasal voice that's so annoying. Get back on your dragon. Like, bro, shut up. And it seems like he just has very little, like, empathy. Like, Rhaenys is like, she's mourning, bro. And he's like, she has responsibilities. Like, it's like he's emotionally stunted. But his brother is, like, actually normal. Like, Viserys, had empathy. He was reasonable. He cared about people. Like, how are two brothers so, like, drastically different? So then we see, the ship deckhand, I think, Alan. And, Corlys, who's, he's still struggling after his, he got the scurvy on the high seas. And basically Corlys is like, I'm indebted to you, but Alan's a pretty humble guy. It seems kind of like a side story, to be honest. I'm not sure what the significance of that is, but I'm sure we'll see the significance of that interaction with Alan and Corlys in the future, but there's not really much about that scene to think about. There's a scene where, like, they had one of those, like, scorpions that to kill dragons, and they were, like, looking up to the skies, but it was actually Vhagar and Vaemond. And I'm like, I wonder if they've, like, accidentally shot at their own, like, allied dragons before. Like, because they were, like, aiming it. They were ready. Like, they could have easily just accidentally just pulled that trigger and then zoop. And it just reminds me of that moment where, that famous moment where I think David Benioff, where he's like, oh, I guess Danny kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Memories. Goodness. It's crazy that Game of Thrones, at least, the original series, ended all the way back in, like, May of 2019. Dude, that was 5 years ago. It doesn't even feel... I mean, it kind of feels that long, to be honest. But it is 5 years ago. Damn. Aegon is also an ass. And then, he's talking to Helena. And Aegon's being unreasonable as usual. And then Helena has, like... She's like, oh, the rats. I'm scared of the rats. But obviously there's nothing. So she's, like, seeing things. But then he's like, again, no empathy. He's like, the queen is an enduring mystery. That's pretty funny, but it's also kind of an asshole thing to say. And also, I just realized, like, I was watching a video. I think I was watching a video by Alt Shift X. I think he makes some great videos on Game of Thrones. I'll probably put a link to his channel in the description, or I'll also make a comment with his channel, with the link to his channel in it. But on his video, he had like a family tree, I think. And apparently, I didn't even realize Helena and And Aegon, Aegon the stupid, basically, the idiot. Apparently he married his sister Helena. I'm like, yo, what is up with all this sister and brother marrying? Like Viserys obviously didn't want that, and they're just like, let's just keep going. Goodness. So then, Kristen continues with a flashbang sex scene again. Like, I'm tired of these sex scenes just coming out of nowhere. Like, give me a little bit of a lead up or something. Don't just jump straight into like the moaning noises and all. Like, come on. I don't want to deal with that. And Kristen's having sex with Alicent, and they're like, we can't do this again. Like, man, Kristen is just a mess. Like, he cannot control himself. First, he's banging Rhaenyra, and now Alicent. Like, this guy is just, oh my gosh, can't keep his pants up. Can't keep his pants up. And they're trying to detach from each other, but I mean, you can't. When you're having sex with somebody, like, you're gonna get attached to them more likely than not. So I mean, that's gonna last for a while. Like, they're not just gonna stop. I mean, if people find out, like, he could be killed. So that's a very dangerous thing that they're playing with. And then they walk in together to the small council room, and the music like kind of crescendos in a way, or like flares up when Otto looks at them. Like, oh, he definitely knows. He knows. There's no way he doesn't know. And then later on, they also mention that the Vale and the North are with the Blacks at the small council. And then Jaehaerys is there. He's pretty cute, but he has like atrocious parenting. Like, they're teaching him to just have no self-control whatsoever. Like, he could become a monster very easily. But for now, he's cute. And after that, Aemon just kind of strolls in like he owns the place. He's like, all right, we're going to go here. So then Otto, I also wanted to talk about Otto for a little bit. Like, Otto is such an interesting character because he has like wisdom. He's not like completely stupid like Aegon, or kind of impulsive like Vaemond. Clearly he has some practical knowledge. Like, he did do some good things with Viserys, but at the same time he was power hungry. Put Alicent in there to make sure the High Towers were a part of the crown. He was fine with killing Rhaenyra and all this other stuff. So he can be vicious, but at the same time wise. He's a very interesting character because, like, I don't know if I don't like him or if I like him. Because, like, he does just enough that I think he's a scumbag. But at the same time, he's reasonable enough that I don't, like, hate him. I really like characters like that, where I don't even know what to think about them. He's not like a Jaime Lannister, where he's, like, obviously, like, the evil antagonist who's, like, disgusting. And then he has a change towards good. He's not that. He's not, like, either side. He's kind of, he's both. I guess in that way, he's probably the most realistic character. He doesn't want to just, burn through cities like a fool, ravaging people's innocent cities. But at the same time, if he's going to kill someone who's in his way, he'll kill them. Like, could he kind of help the Blacks in the future? I don't know. He's too practical. I don't know. He cares too much about the crown. Probably not. Oh, yeah, and then next, Larys. Oh, Larys, whatever. Freaking the lard man. That's what I'm going to call him. The guy that basically was pleasuring himself to Alicent's feet. Yes, that guy. Basically, he's like, oh, I heard you were indisposed, Alicent. I'm like, you little bastard. You little shit. So, he's basically blackmailing her. And apparently, I think he, like, kills her Alicent's maids or something. I think he does. And he replaces them with all of his own, newly hired, staff or maids or whatever. And, I mean, obviously, they're his spies. Like, they are definitely spying for him. And Alicent knows it. And she's like, get away from me. So, like, she has no peace at any point. Even when she's taking a bath, she just can't trust anyone. It's like, that's just going to wear on her. She has to have some sort of massive breakdown. Because there's too much stress on her. I feel pretty bad for her, honestly. Oh, yeah, and then we see Rhaenyra, finding Jace, you know, the fishermen just scream, "Dragon, dragon!" But she obviously doesn't give a damn. She's just there to see Jace, or I mean not Jace, Lucerys. She finds his dragon's remains, and she starts crying. I just wonder if this is going to stop her from maybe sending Jace out in the future. Like maybe there's going to be a point where Jace is going to be needed to step up, but she's not willing, and she holds him back, and maybe that's going to hurt them in the future. Like I don't know. That would be interesting if they explore that, like Rhaenyra being afraid to have Jace help out even though he's needed in the war that I'm sure is going to happen later on. After that, I'm looking at my notes here. I've never done this before, but I took like a bunch of notes just like of what to talk about. We continue with Aegon the Magnanimous. Magnanimous. What exactly does that mean? What does magnanimous mean? Magnanimous definition. Generous or forgiving, especially toward a rival or less powerful person. I don't know about that. Maybe generous towards the small folk, the peasants, but definitely not towards rivals. And Otto basically. So then Otto shows his other side where, on one hand, he's practical and he knows that the crown, you can't give away everything, give everyone what they want. Like, there's going to have to be some sacrifices because they do need resources for the war, for the dragons and all that. Otto was greedy and he wanted the crown. So I'm like, could he be greedy with their resources too? Like, maybe. Like, I do think he's probably being a bit overly restrictive. Oh, yeah, and then after that, friggin' Larys the lard man, continues. I mean, he's a groveling merchant. He really is. Like, he's a professional boot kisser. He's just, oh, I hate him. I can already tell he's gonna be like a Littlefinger, He's gonna survive all the way to the end of the series. He just is. You just know it. He's gonna have that sort of an impact. Hopefully he has a better end than Littlefinger, because, I mean, Littlefinger, honestly, basically kicked off the entire conflict of Game of Thrones. So he probably should have been the final boss. Oh, and there's this video that kind of redid season 7 and season 8, or just season 8. And they redid it so well. Oh my gosh, if they could just get the actors to come back at least for one time. I don't know if they would ever do that. But just have someone who looks like them at least attempt to re-record it, It would be better than nothing. And gosh, who knows? George R.R. Martin probably isn't even going to finish the series. He's like, 77 or something? Hopefully that we have some sort of a better conclusion in the future. And I wonder, what does Larys even want, Like, what? Does he just want to please himself to a bunch of women's feet all day long? Like, I don't know. Vengeful, tragic backstory like an anime character or something? I don't know. Oh yeah, and then Otto and Alicent talk about Vaemond killing Lucerys, and Otto's like, "Oh, it's just the caprice of youth." Like, he literally killed him. Like, killed like a 15-year-old boy. What do you the caprice of youth? Like, they have no accountability whatsoever. Alicent is like, "Oh, I don't want to kill Rhaenyra." So even through all that, Alicent still cares for Rhaenyra. And I think I want to predict the future, and I just wonder, is she gonna I'm just, in my head, I imagine, they're gonna have the war, and, people are gonna die, probably. By the way, I haven't read the books, so I don't know what happens. And then, Alicent and Rhaenyra are gonna be in the middle of the field or something, and they're gonna come face to face, and they're not gonna want to kill each other. But then, someone on the other side is going to try and kill them. And I don't know. Are they going to defend each other? Who knows? I just can't see Rhaenyra and Alicent killing each other, though. Oh, yeah, and Rhaenyra wants Vaemond's head. She just strolls in. She's like, "I want Vaemond." Vaemond Targaryen. So, I wonder, is she going to be willing to forgive? Probably not. Probably not. He did kill her son. But also something I noticed, they said when they were announcing her, oh, first of her name. And, there's so many characters in the show that are not the first of their name. There's like 385 Aegons in the series. It's ridiculous. So to hear first of their name is like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if there's any significance to that. If anyone comments on this video, please do not spoil it. Do not spoil it. I will hate you forever. Not really, but I will call you out, and I will probably delete your comment. So please don't do that. Don't be an ass, okay? This is one of the best shows out there right now. Have a little bit of decency. One little stupid joke that makes you chuckle is not worth ruining an entire series. If you're watching this video, comment below if there's any actual significance to that first of her name thing. Oh yeah, and then Jane, Aaron from the Vale pledged her support for her. But then, Jacaerys, it's the first time he sees Rhaenyra after Lucerys died, so then they mourn together as a family. It's very, very tragic. And they have like a funeral for Lucerys, and this is probably like my favorite scene of this entire episode, because Alicent is like lighting candles for Viserys, and she said a name first who I didn't recognize. It might be the person that she talked to, like maybe one of her maids or something that Larys probably killed. I think that's what it is. And then she lights a candle for Viserys, who passed away. And then meanwhile, Rhaenyra and Daemon and everyone is there, mourning Lucerys. Also, I think her name is Rayla? Rayla. One of Daemon and Laena's children. She's sort of biracial looking girl with like a bit lighter skin than Baela. And she was betrothed to Lucerys, who's obviously now tragically dead. So I'm just wondering, I wonder when are they gonna develop Baela's character and Rayla's character more? Because they're gonna become very important in the war. Is Rayla gonna marry someone else? I don't know. Is she gonna become an important part of the story because of that, trying to find a husband? I don't know. And I don't even think she has a dragon, does she? Because I think she was supposed to have Vhagar, but it got obviously taken by Vaemond. But they do have, I think a couple dragons back there that Daemon's been kind of raising, I think. I'm excited to see when they actually start really developing those two girls. So far, they haven't done it yet. They've kind of just been there. Maybe that'll happen when people start dying. Oh! And then, Alicent, very heartwarmingly but tragically, lights a candle for Lucerys Balerion. So she still cares, She really does. She has a spiritual element to her. So I still really like her, even though, she's banging Kristen. Even though she's banging that freak. So that was a great scene. I loved how they switched back and forth between them. It showed that there's still a connection between the two. So then, Daemon, we see him with the hood. Whenever he has that hood on, he's up to no good. He had that hood on when he was trying to bang Rhaenyra, his own niece. He had that, basically bringing her to a freaking prostitute den. And then he had that hood on when he went to hire someone to, assassinate or fake the assassination of Laenor. But they did actually end up killing some random ass innocent guy. And now he has a hood on again. So I'm like, oh boy, here we go. What should we call it? Hoodie Daemon is that's the scariest thing ever. That's like Black Force energy. Black Air Force energy. It's that level. Hoodie Daemon is not to be messed with. So then, he still has people that like him in the City Watch or whatever. And he's like, oh, what happens if we can't find him? Because Daemon, employs the rat catcher and that other guy, the City Watch. And he's like, what if we can't find him? And it kind of just cuts off. That is interesting. Oh, yeah, they stroll past Aegon. I'm not even going to say what he calls himself because I don't want to get demonetized. But Aegon, the what? The what now? The dragon what? And, oh my gosh. This final scene, what to even say about it? I guess maybe I'd rather see this than, someone's eyeballs being squished out of their skull. But at the same time, goodness gracious, Sometimes I wonder what goes through George R. R. Martin's head. Like, brother, do you need some like some therapy sessions or something? What does it take to write some stuff like this? Oh yeah, and then he forces the mother to choose which one of their children they're gonna cut their heads off. Like, what? Dude! That is insanely brutal. Oh my gosh. And then they have the sound of them like, oh, cutting his head off. Oh, I didn't need to hear that. Crazy. That scene had my jaw like dropped for a good minute. Longer than that. I did not expect that. Like, I thought that like they were gonna see Vayman and he's gonna last second escape or something. I didn't think that they would actually like be able to kill somebody. Why does the innocent people in Game of Thrones always have to go through like the worst shit imaginable? Like, oh my gosh, poor Helena. She's already misunderstood with her like visions or schizophrenia or whatever she has. And she had to, can you imagine? Like, oh my gosh. Poor girl. And then her husband is stupid ass Aegon too. Like, I can't wait until she just rides the dragon and just starts burning people alive. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for the Helena vengeance arc. I can't wait for it. Oh, I really hope they don't just kill her off. And then she runs over to Alicent and obviously she's banging Kristen yet again. I don't think she's gonna, hold that against Alicent or anything. But man, Kristen is over there banging Alicent like an idiot, and just Harris is getting killed as he's doing. Like, Kristen could have done something. He could have saved them. Oh my gosh, I hate Kristen so much. And that's how the episode ends. Oh gosh. And Alicent, I'm sure feels guilty about that too. Bro, this is insane. I didn't expect a child death. We got like what, a teenager, 15, 16, at the oldest getting chomped, killed at the end of last season. At the very beginning of the season, we have like a 5-year-old getting his head cut. Like, what? George R. R. Martin, you need some counseling. Ugh. Still a great episode though. I saw a little bit of the preview where Aegon's just like throwing, stuff all over the place. He won't be magnanimous after this, that's for sure. There's gonna be a lot of villages being burned, but at the same time, I'm excited to see the actual battle. Like, I love battlefields and war, like in TV shows, and just how they deal with the tactics of it all. Like, it should be interesting. So yeah, that's my analysis, my reaction, my thoughts about that first episode of season 2. I'll be putting these videos out pretty quickly compared to whatever gaming videos I put out. But yeah, tell me what you think. What you think about that first episode. I know I'm a little behind. I know that I think the 8th episode has come out, but I'll catch up. That doesn't really matter. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe. Hit the bell. All notifications if you want to see more. And make sure to comment down below, whatever you think about that first episode. And no spoilers, please. No spoilers. Like, please. Don't be that person. And I will pray that doesn't happen. But thank you for watching. Love you guys. All right. See ya.